All right, let's call it what it is. The season's been a disappointment so far. And you know what? I'd be fine with the record if we had this like young, exciting, confident, talented core that could develop into perennial contenders. Wait.
Is controlled by the Knicks. Here's Quickley. Splash! My goodness!
With the outlet pass. Here comes Toppin. Oh! Jordan.
Knox with the finish and the foul. Finds Barrett. Not a lot of time to shoot. Barrett has to put it up. It's up. It's good. R.J. Barrett drills it as the shot clock expires. Step back three, blocked by Robinson. The Burks up top, McBride. McBride drives, goes inside, left-handed, lays it up and in. Beautiful move by Miles McBride. Throws to Grimes. Grimes again. Grimes, red hot.
The Knicks have the best young core in the NBA. Julius Randle really is Monte Ellis, and maybe Tibbs is the right guy for the job. All that coming up next right here on Riding with the Knicks. Welcome back to Riding with the Knicks. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this is your first time watching any of the videos on this channel, I just wanted to say a special thank you and welcome to the channel. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe. If you liked the video, let me know by liking it and leaving a comment below. Just started this channel about 4 weeks ago. We got some good momentum, but your subscription would mean a lot to me. So there is this saying that I've heard that says, if you try to walk down the middle of the road, you end up getting hit by both sides. And I'm worried right now that the Knicks are trying to walk down the middle of this road between really giving the keys to these young guys and still trying to like remain relevant and mediocre and like trying to make the playoffs with like Julius Randle and Evan Fournier and Alec Burks and Noel and all that stuff. And so I'm worried that they're about to get hit by both sides. Let's talk about the first claim I made. The Knicks have the best, most exciting, confident, young core of talent in the entire NBA. It can be hard to disagree with that. Let me know if you think another team has better young talent than us right now. But let's just break it down. In 2018, the Knicks drafted Kevin Knox at, I think, the 9th pick. We got Knox at the 9th pick. He's 22 years old right now. And you know what? A lot of guys on the team suffered from all the turmoil in the organization, but no one ever gives Knox credit for that. This is a young, talented kid who is a liability on defense, but can hit the three. He has some explosive plays to the rim that you just saw in the intro. But he's only 22 years old. We want to write him off and throw him out. So we got Knox. In that same draft, we picked up Mitchell Robinson, who's our starting center right now and should be. We got him at the 36th pick in the draft because he was a steal. We took a risk on him, low risk, high reward. Boom, we're paying off for the high reward right now. The guy didn't go to college. He took like a year off in between. There was some weird thing that happened to him. If you know about the specifics of that, let me know because I don't really know about it. Let me know in the comments. But then we picked him up. And his talent is there. It's raw. And his confidence, his joy he brings to the game. Like, all that stuff matters. And so that was 18. In 19, we get R.J. Barrett. And, you know, some people we were all upset. We wanted Zion. Do we really want Zion now compared to R.J. Barrett? I don't think so. John Morant is definitely the best talent to come out of that draft. But after that, it's got to be R.J. So that was 19. What happened in 20? 20, we get Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, the Skywalker himself. His dad was what? Part of like the And One mixtapes. He's from Brooklyn. Like, it's starting to feel like, oh, we're building something special here with our guys, and they're talented guys. We also get what? IQ? Come on now. Towards the end of the first round, and IQ comes in and he's just got that kind of like, he's got that swag. He's got that confidence. He's got that range to shoot it from deep. And you know what people overlook for some reason? We overlook the fact that this guy is shooting like lights out from the free throw line for his whole career, college, and like the last couple years in the NBA. And like that's showing the pure shooter's touch that he has. And it's not up and down from the line. He just hits them all. He hits them all. And so you're going to go up and down from three. But man, I think that guy, IQ, with that swag, that confidence, that shooting ability, he's got handles too. He's long, he's active on defense. Like, I think that he's still underrated and people are saying he's overrated. We got IQ. And then when we get this year, we got a haul this year in 21. We picked Grimes. Grimes is killing it right now from three-point land. and he should be playing over Fournier. We'll get to that in a minute, though. We got Grimes. We got Deuce McBride, who the fan base, y'all, have been calling for forever, and he finally gets put in there because of, like, all the COVID stuff, because of injuries, and he lights it up. Then he goes out on his own COVID protocol, and we'll see what happens when he comes back. But then we also pick up Jericho Sims at, like, 58th pick in the draft. So it's, like, another low-risk, high-reward, super athletic center. And so we really, of those guys right now, who did I just mention? Knox, Robinson, R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, Grimes, Deuce McBride, and Jericho Sims, right? 8 guys. That's 8 guys. That's all Tibbs plays anyway, is 8 guys. But 8 guys who have, like, they're not just these, like, one-and-done coddled guys that, like, we don't know what they're going to turn out to be in the NBA. No, a lot of these guys are, like, they played 2 or 3 years in college. Like, they've had to gut it out. They've had to grind it out. They've got some of that New York DNA in them. They've developed as men. They've developed as players. Like, a lot of these guys are, like, rooted and grounded in their faith. Like, you can watch them and the way they talk and the things that they care about. It's like there's something special about developing a little bit more before getting thrown into the game. And these guys are that. And so they're not like those top 3 picks of the draft, except for RJ, like one and done kind of guys that, we don't know what they're going to develop into. It's like, no, we know we got some guys that are game ready right now, and we're seeing that whenever they get their burn. And so right there, we could play a lineup like this: Deuce at the point, Quick or Grimes at the shooting guard, RJ Barrett at the 3, Knox or Obi at the 4, and Mitchell or Jericho Sims at the 5. Like, we literally have a lineup of good talent as a young team. And so I think we're hard pressed to find another team that is as talented in their young core as us. And so what? We have a choice right now. We can trade them away and try to get some guys to fit with, like, Derrick Rose and Julius Randle and Evan Fournier, and, like, call that the New York Knicks, and, like, then have a very small window to make a run at a potential Eastern Conference Finals or championship run. And then you're competing with who? You're competing with all the other stars in the East right now, with Giannis, with Embiid. You're competing with who else is out here right now? Kyrie Irving, if he plays, or Kevin Durant, but all those guys are, like, in their, like, they're 30 or 31 or 32 or 33, some of them. But our guys, our young guys, 2 of them are 23, 2 of them are 22, and the rest are 21. That's crazy. That's crazy. And so tell me if you think that there's better talent out there at that age. And so we got a decision to make. And I think the decision is, you move Julius Randle at the trade deadline this year. And that's not a hot take. A lot of people have been saying that. But this is why. And I said Julius Randle is actually Monte Ellis. So the Warriors in 2012 ended up trading Monte Ellis in his 7th season. He was playing well. He was playing the best basketball of his career. And they had a young Stephen Curry on their team in his 3rd season. And I went back recently and read some articles that were coming out from Bleacher Report and other publications at the time. And they said kind of like the general thought was that they should trade Monte and keep Curry, but it was not a done deal. Like, they were considering both options because they didn't know if Curry could stay healthy. He had ankle issues, like, he was a scrawny kid. They didn't really know. They had raw potential there. And that's what the Knicks have. We got some raw potential too. And I'm not even talking about the guard position. I'm talking about Obi Toppin. So Curry was in his 3rd season. Obi Toppin's in his 3rd season. No, he played last year. This is his 2nd season. Okay, so he's in his 2nd season. Julius Randle's in his 7th season, and Monte Ellis was in his 7th season. So you've got this, like, guy in their prime who you know what they are, or you can move them and give the keys to this young guy and see what he can become. You could take the risk and put it in there. I think it's the low-risk, high-reward option to bet on your young guy. Because you're not getting strapped in like a bad deal where you make a trade, it doesn't work out, and then you've mortgaged your future for the now, and the now didn't pay off. That's the higher risk, kind of low reward thing for me. So what happened? They moved Monte Ellis. It's a hard decision, and they give the keys to Curry. And who did they get back? They didn't get back from Monte Ellis like some other guard who they can make Curry play behind. to get better. No, they didn't do that at all. They got a player to complement Curry. They got a player that could stretch the floor, that could rebound the ball and get it to Curry quick. They got Bogut back. So they didn't get a guy to help Curry continue to develop as a point guard. They got a guy that could help their team as a whole and help Curry thrive in his role. And so we need to move Randle, but not for another position like Randle, not for another kind of guy like that, because I think we have that guy in Obi. And Randle dominates the ball. He wants to pound the rock all the time. But that means that Deuce can't. That means that Quickley can't. Like, that means the ball's in the point forward's hands, where Julius Randle's like always turning it over. We've seen that story a million times. The spin into the double play, lose the ball. And so I think that Julius Randle's in that same spot as Monte Ellis, and it sucks, but I think we got to move him now while we can get a good piece back for him, but then give the keys to these young guys. And so that leads me to the final point here. Tibbs might actually be the right guy for the job. I've criticized him. A lot of people have criticized Tibbs and said, he's got an old mentality. He doesn't want to play the young guys. We've seen a lot of evidence of that, and that sucks. But I just referenced the Golden State Warriors team. They drafted those guys. They drafted Clay. They drafted Steph. They drafted Draymond. And they put the right pieces around those guys, and they gave them the keys and they let them do their thing. They developed that talent. The next stage of development for our guys is consistent playing time, starting roles, most of the minutes, that kind of stuff. But there was another team that the Golden State reminds me of, and the young talent that we have reminds me of too. And that was the Bulls under Tom Thibodeau. They drafted Joakim Noah. They drafted Taj Gibson. They drafted Derrick Rose. They drafted Jimmy Butler. And Tibbs ran those guys, sometimes off the road because he played them too much, but he got them to like elite contender status. And I think he could do that again with these guys. But we got to get some of that extra stuff out of the way. We got to move that stuff out of the way. And by that stuff, I'm talking about people's lives, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like, we got to move on from Julius Randle. We got to move on from Evan Fournier. We got to move on from Noel. We got to move on from Alec Burks and hope that they go to great places and they can thrive in their careers. But we need to keep guys like Kemba Walker, who are not going to play the majority of the minutes. We need to keep guys like Derrick Rose, who can mentor these young guys and know Tom Thibodeau and can soften him a little bit when needed. We need guys like Taj Gibson, who's also from New York. Those things are important, but the guys who are in the prime of their career but really are never going to be as good as these young guys could be, we got to move on from them. And so I said that you don't want to stand in the middle of the road, and I think that Knicks are standing in the middle of the road right now. And if they don't make the right move now, they can end up getting hit by both sides. They could end up settling for a bad deal, trading away a lot of their young guys, not getting what they need back in return, not ever getting into contender status, and basically doing the whole thing over again, having a draft again. But I think we got a really special team right now. And so what do you think? Where are you walking down the middle of the road somewhere in your life? If we're pulling out the deeper themes, do you need to make some decisions? Because everything is a risk. But it's really do you have a calculated risk in your life that you really need to just move into? Because there is no reward without risk. And so I think that this decision for the Knicks, give the keys to the young guys, low risk, high reward. If it doesn't pan out, you can you're not really in any bad contracts. You're all right. So what are those decisions in your life? Where do you need to reassess? Where do you need to make some low risk, high reward decisions? Let me know. Not like I'm going to give you any advice, but just let me know. I'm so looking forward to the rest of the season. I hope we make some serious moves at the trade deadline. And I'm good with ending under 500 if these kids are really getting the burn that they deserve and getting to develop. And we can see the future, 5-6 years away, where these guys develop into potentially the next perennial contender. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you're here for the first time, if you've watched this whole video, props to you. And if you've watched this whole video and you didn't hit subscribe, now's the time. Come on now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Riding with the Knicks. And as always, go Knicks.